Hello, team. Hope you're having a great Monday. Hope all you moms had an awesome Mother's Day yesterday. It was great honoring you guys at our service, and we missed a lot of you who went to service in the north or in Metro LA or somewhere else on Sunday. Uh, but it was great to be together. I know it was kind of unique having a Sunday evening service, but wanted to update you on a few things and kind of touch base. So mission points. We talked about that a couple weeks ago now, or a little over a week ago. Hopefully, those changes are getting figured out. Let us know if we need to help with anything. Again, the objective is trying to get our groups smaller, 6, 8, 10 or so, and then as they get bigger to 15, 16, we try to launch into 2. I know sometimes there's special situations or special concerns, but we're just praying God sends us workers into His harvest field, and we when we need more leaders, more people will raise up and be willing to lead, and we can kind of continue to multiply small groups and really be a church of small group, not a church with small groups, but a church of small groups. So those mission points will begin the last Wednesday in May. So it's on the calendar on CCB or on if you subscribe to our calendar on the web, it should show up on your calendar, or it's on the app calendar, or it's on southbaychurch.us. If you don't subscribe, by the way, I really recommend you do that so that your calendar, whatever you use, like I use calendar on my Mac and my iPhone, but whatever calendar app you use will automatically kind of populate with whatever changes we make to the calendar or updates or information or whatever. So if you don't subscribe, that would be awesome. But all those are on there, and the goal is that we have 2 mission points each month. You can meet more if you want as a group. You mission point leaders are empowered to kind of do what you think the group needs as far as evangelistically and discipling wise. But I want to just kind of give you the ideal, what we're putting out there as far as expectation. So the mission points are really our front lines for evangelism and discipling. We can't really do all of that on Sundays. We're not meeting for midweek. So it's really up to the mission points to provide that sort of, you know, to give leadership to the church organically and be able to reach people for the kingdom. We were meeting with our worship team for rehearsal a couple weeks ago, and Seeley was sharing about how really that's what he feels like is so unique about our church is the relationships and the connections. And he grew up in church and grew up learning a lot of the scriptures, but it was more like head knowledge until he really saw disciples living the life of a disciple and being with other disciples and those relationships. So now, evangelistically, he's always thinking, how can I connect people to the group? Even beyond just getting people in the Bible, but connecting them to the group and letting them see us, see relationships. So I say that because your mission point meeting could be a typical Bible talk where you look at a passage and talk about it. And we gave out the 52 Bible Talks books to all of you a couple years ago. You should have those. Or if you are in need of Bible Talks, Clay Jackson has offered to provide a bunch of those. But there are other options, as Karina shared in our leaders meeting. This church in Alaska, their small groups really function as mission teams for community activism, community service, helping people that where there's needs. So they involve people to come along with them in like a hope project, and then they connect them to the group, and then they connect them to Bible studies and study the Bible with them, and they become Christians. So you can be creative with your mission point meetings, I guess is what I'm trying to say. If you want to do outreach to the community, or have a neighborhood party, or let's say you had a bunch of guests to Easter, you might want to have more of a dinner party and invite all those people, a neighborhood party or something, or whatever you think is going to best meet the needs. But on the calendar, it's on Wednesdays, just so that you kind of know what's a mission point week. The reason that's important is the off weeks, the teens are meeting on Wednesday night at the SDA building. So they're still going to meet every other week. If you haven't been there or heard about it, the teen midweeks have really been electric. Joe Nicole Lee and the rest of the team leaders have been just doing a fantastic job. I've been able to poke my head in there a few times, and there's a lot of visitors coming to it. There's just a huge attendance at those midweeks. So those are really, really valuable for our teens to connect. So they've been meeting every week on Wednesdays. Now they're going to be meeting every other week on the off weeks from Mission Point. So the Mission Point weeks, it would be great to involve the teens. And I know we've talked about that before, but to have the teens participate in whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's a Bible talk or an outreach or a party or whatever, but to involve those teenagers that are in your group. Also, the singles have been meeting every week for Elevate. They are going to continue to meet, just the South Bay group, so not all of Costa LA, but just the South Bay group, which is called the Alive Ministry. And so they will still be meeting every other week on the weeks that we aren't having Mission Point. And so those weeks are sort of designated off of Mission Point for the purpose of the teens being able to meet on Wednesday, the singles being able to meet on Wednesday, and marrieds to be able to meet up for discipling times. We believe it's really important that everybody be in a discipling time at least a couple times a month. I was just talking to somebody yesterday who hadn't been having discipling times for quite a while, and just talking about, and now they're kind of in a crisis mode, and just talking about kind of like oil changes. You just need to maintain the vehicle so that it's not just dealing with when there's a crisis, but having those couples D times with some consistency is important. So, but all that said, and I'm going to kind of reiterate all this, but all that said, the Mission Points, if you want to meet more than just those 2 Mission Point meetings, and if your group decides, hey, we want to do this also, we want to have a D group here, we want to go serve the homeless over here, it's really up to you, but we're just trying to give you a framework, and we definitely want to allow for the teens and the singles to have those meetings twice a month. So to reiterate, the Mission Point is the evangelistic front lines and discipling front lines for our church. And so what happens in the Mission Points gets multiplied. That's how well the church is going to do. And how the Mission Points do is how the church does. And so the role that you're playing is super vital, super important, and we really, really appreciate the work that you're doing. And those Mission Point groups will start meeting the last week in May and then continue through until August. In August, we'll come all together for midweeks with all of the South Bay South Faith family in August. So you'll have the month of June and July to meet as Mission Points. And I think hopefully I described it thoroughly enough for you to understand, or if there's any questions at all, please give me a call or send me an email. But we love you and we appreciate you. Also, if you could send us that information about the group, respond to the email that I sent you with a form to fill out, just a few short things. I know we had a lot of people missing our service on Sunday, but the information that about that would be helpful, just to kind of see make sure we're shepherding the group as we need to, and that Dustin and I can get involved in studies during the week and stuff like that. So we love you guys. Have a great day.